This is problem number 1 on the practice problems request number 2. Use the graph to answer the questions below. What is the slope of the graphed line? So in order to find slope, first we'll use the letter we've been using for slope, which is m. One of our versions for slope was change in y over change in x. So what we need to do is find 2 points that are on this line. Now you can pick any 2 points you want, but I'll caution you against picking any old points. For example, if you pick that point, it would be quite difficult to figure out what the exact coordinates are. You could estimate 1.8, negative 0.7, but those are just guesses. So you don't want to pick that point. You want to pick a point that's on the diagonal line that's also on the background grid. So for example, this point here, definitely the y is -1 because it's on the horizontal grid. But again, finding the x here would just be an estimate. So you don't want to pick those points. So take your time. I really only think there are 2 points that we can pick. You don't have a lot of choices here. You got to pick the only 2 that are on this diagonal line that are also on the background grid. One of them is out here. So we'll write the coordinates of this point. It's at 5, 2. And the other one is actually over here, right on the y-axis. So the coordinates of this point are 0, -2. So when we calculate the slope, we just subtract change in y, 2 minus -2, over change in x. This is one of the few places you can go wrong with slope. Is if I subtract in this order first, 2 minus -2, then I better subtract in the same order on the x's. 5 minus 0 is the only thing that I can put downstairs. So just be consistent. Upstairs is a +4, downstairs is the 5. 4/5 is the slope. If you prefer rise and run, then you can imagine going from this point on the left, rising up to there. So how far is that? That's a rise of 4. And then running to the point. How far is that run? It's a 5. So rise over run, 4 over 5. Part B, what is the vertical intercept of the graphed line? So we actually ended up finding this one already. It's 0, -2, or if you prefer, just -2. And then part C, what is an equation of the graphed line? So one of our equations is y equals mx plus b. And I think we have all the pieces we need to fill this in. M is the slope. We found it up above as 4/5. X is x. B is the y-intercept, -2. So y equals 4/5 x minus 2.